In God we live, move, and exist. As some of your own poets said, we are his offspring. Here in the book of Acts, we have a story being shared with us that has Paul in the middle of the people in Athens, people who are not necessarily believers. Standing in Mars Hill, he's giving a sermon, more or less. And he says, in God we live, move, and breathe. In other words, everything we do, all that we are, is because of and for God. And then he does something interesting. He says, even some of your own poets have said, we are like his children. It's interesting that Paul decides to go to the wisdom of the people. He draws on the wisdom of their own poets. He could have simply said it himself. He could have simply said, we are God's children. Let me explain to you our relationship with God, and gone on with a 15, 20-minute sermon, and then end with a closing hymn and move on. Instead, speaking with a group of non-believers, he chooses to use their words. He chooses to refer to the people in their world, in their lives. Why? Because, first of all, I think he wanted to prove that they're not completely off. They are already thinking in a way that allows space for Christ. So let's build on that. But I think also he's reminding them that he's hearing them. He's hearing them, he knows them. He's taken the time to get to listen to what their own poets have said. Paul is reminding them that he authentically cares. You've heard me, whether in church or in devotionals, talk about the difference between relationship and relational evangelism and bullhorn evangelism. Bullhorn evangelism has no interest in getting to know the person, but simply sharing information with them about God. Relational evangelism seeks to build relationships with people so that through those relationships, God can use you, me, us as a vehicle for sharing the good news of Christ. Paul's doing relational evangelism. Yes, he's preaching. Yes, he's standing up in the middle of a crowd of non-believers. And maybe you can almost imagine him having a bullhorn to assist his voice. But he's done the work of getting to know the people. He's done the work of knowing their own poets. So what do we need to do to get to know the poets in the communities we live? What do we need to do to become familiar with, to build relationships with, to earn respect and trust in the communities which we serve? Maybe we need to find ourselves spending more time in those communities and less time opening our doors to the church, hoping that people find their way in. Maybe when we do so, we can refer to their very own poets and see that we are children of God. They've already said so. Amen.